Welcome to Stoic Mastery, where we bring you timeless wisdom for navigating life's challenges with clarity, strength, and resilience. If you're here, you're likely someone who values inner peace and personal growth, someone who wants to rise above the noise and distractions of modern life to find true strength within. Stoicism isn't just an ancient philosophy, it's a powerful guide to mastering the art of living. And today, we're tackling a topic that many of us encounter, but struggle to handle with grace. How to deal with people who don't respect you. Respect is one of those things that we all crave, whether we admit it or not. It's an acknowledgement of our value, our presence, our dignity. And yet, in a world filled with varying personalities, opinions, and egos, it's inevitable that we'll encounter people who treat us with less respect than we deserve. It might be subtle, a dismissive comment, an eye roll, or it might be blatant, like constant criticism or belittling. Whatever form it takes, disrespect can sting, leaving us feeling hurt, offended, or even angry. But what if I told you that you have a choice? That you can approach these situations with a sense of calm, strength, and wisdom that protects your inner peace? Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control how others treat us, we can always control how we respond. And that response is where our power lies. Today, I'll be sharing 10 Stoic principles to help you rise above disrespect, to deal with those who fail to see your worth with dignity and strength. These aren't just tips for the moment. They're strategies to cultivate a mindset that turns obstacles into opportunities, that sees challenges as chances for growth. Imagine navigating disrespect without letting it disturb your inner peace, without letting it shake your confidence. Imagine responding with a calmness that reflects your true strength, a calmness that leaves others puzzled and even a bit inspired. That's the power of Stoicism. By understanding and embracing these principles, you're not only building resilience, but also elevating yourself to a level where others' negativity no longer has a hold over you. So, if you're ready to master the art of handling disrespect, let's dive into these transformative Stoic practices and unlock a new level of inner peace. Chapter 1. Remember what's in your control. In Stoicism, one of the fundamental principles is recognizing what is within our control and what is not. This concept, often referred to as the dichotomy of control, teaches us that we are responsible for our own actions, thoughts, and reactions, but we cannot control the actions, thoughts, or judgments of others. When dealing with disrespect, this distinction becomes incredibly powerful. Imagine the freedom that comes with understanding that another person's lack of respect is a reflection of them, not you. It's a release from the burdens of frustration, anger, and resentment because you realize that their behavior is beyond your control, but your reaction is entirely within it. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught that we should focus only on what we can influence. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When someone disrespects you, it's natural to feel hurt, to want to defend yourself, or even to retaliate. But Stoicism teaches us to pause, to take a step back, and to focus on what we can actually change, our own response. When faced with disrespect, ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? Can I control the other person's words or actions? No. Can I control their opinion of me? No. But I can control my thoughts and feelings. I can choose to see their behavior as a test of my patience, as an opportunity to practice resilience, or simply as an insignificant event that doesn't deserve my emotional energy. By focusing on what's within your control, you prevent others from disturbing your inner peace. This doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect or that you allow people to treat you poorly. Rather, it means you approach the situation with clarity. You recognize that getting upset or angry only gives more power to the person who disrespected you. By remaining calm and grounded, you show that their behavior doesn't define you or control your emotions. In practical terms, this can look like taking a deep breath when you feel disrespected, pausing to assess your response before reacting, or even choosing not to react at all. For example, if someone says something rude, instead of reacting impulsively, you might remind yourself, "This is beyond my control. Their words do not change my worth." This small moment of reflection can make a significant difference. It allows you to reclaim your power, to respond intentionally rather than reactively. Another benefit of focusing on what's within your control is that it allows you to act from a place of strength rather than weakness. When you let go of the need to change others, you become more self-sufficient and resilient. You're no longer at the mercy of other people's opinions or actions. This shift in mindset is empowering because it frees you from dependency on external validation. Your sense of worth and peace is no longer tied to how others treat you. Instead, it comes from within. In Stoic practice, this principle is often reinforced through daily reflection and mental preparation. Some Stoics would start their day by mentally preparing themselves to encounter rude or difficult people, reminding themselves that they can't control these encounters, but they can control their responses. By mentally rehearsing calmness and self-control, they strengthen their resilience. Chapter 2. Practice indifference to external opinions. One of the most empowering lessons in Stoicism is the concept of indifference to external opinions. This idea doesn't mean we ignore what others think altogether, but rather that we choose not to let those opinions define us or disrupt our inner peace. In a world where respect and validation are often sought after, learning to be indifferent to the judgment of others can be a transformative practice, especially when dealing with disrespect. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reflected on the importance of focusing on one's own values rather than being swayed by the views of others. He wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This principle suggests that the way we interpret others' opinions of us is often more impactful than the opinions themselves. When someone disrespects us, we have a choice. We can internalize it, letting it shake our confidence, or we can recognize it as a mere opinion that doesn't change who we truly are. In practical terms, practicing indifference means developing a certain mental resilience, a shield against the judgments of others. This doesn't mean we don't care about our character or how we affect others. On the contrary, it means we are so committed to living in alignment with our values that we no longer need others' approval to validate our actions or our worth. We understand that our worth is intrinsic and cannot be given or taken away by someone else's words or opinions. When faced with disrespect, take a moment to consider its true impact on you. Often, we find that it only affects us because we allow it to. By seeing disrespect as inconsequential, as simply noise from the outside world, we free ourselves from the grip of others' judgments. It's like being in the eye of a storm. The chaos may swirl around you, but at your core, you remain calm and untouched. One of the most liberating aspects of Stoicism is its emphasis on self-sufficiency, finding all that we need within ourselves rather than seeking it externally. If we can learn to detach from the need for external respect, we gain a new level of inner freedom. This freedom allows us to focus on our own journey, to develop our character according to our own standards, not those imposed by others. When we internalize this mindset, disrespect becomes less personal, less of an attack, and more of an irrelevant observation that doesn't require our attention. Building this kind of mental resilience isn't easy. It's a practice that requires daily reflection and intentionality. You might start by reflecting on situations where you felt disrespected or judged, examining why it affected you, and questioning whether those opinions truly matter to your life's purpose. Over time, this self-reflection builds a mental muscle that enables you to be unbothered by trivial opinions. Imagine for a moment that you are like a tree with deep roots. The winds of external opinions may blow, but they cannot uproot you. You remain grounded in your principles and values. This image captures the essence of Stoic indifference, being firm and steady, regardless of the environment around you. Chapter 3. Respond with calm and reason. Stoicism teaches us that responding with calm and reason, rather than impulsive emotion, is a mark of true strength. When we encounter disrespect, it's natural to feel hurt, defensive, or even angry. However, reacting emotionally often escalates the situation, adding fuel to the fire. Instead, a Stoic approach encourages us to pause, to detach from the heat of the moment, and to respond thoughtfully, if we choose to respond at all. By doing so, we maintain our dignity and show that we are in control of ourselves, regardless of others' actions. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, emphasized the importance of controlling anger. He said, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." In other words, our anger in response to disrespect often harms us more than the original offense. This is because when we let anger dictate our actions, we lose clarity, act impulsively, and may say or do things that we later regret. In Stoicism, maintaining composure is not about repressing emotions, but rather about choosing a response that aligns with our values and reflects our inner strength. When you respond to disrespect with calmness, you communicate something powerful, that the other person's words or actions do not define or disturb you. This doesn't mean allowing others to walk over you. Instead, it means setting an example of maturity and strength, showing that you are above petty conflicts. Often, people who disrespect others are looking for a reaction. By remaining calm, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you unsettled. Practically, responding with calm and reason starts with awareness. The next time someone disrespects you, notice the initial wave of emotion that arises. Acknowledge it, but don't act on it. Take a deep breath, grounding yourself in the present moment. This small pause creates space between the stimulus, disrespect, and your response, giving you the power to choose how you wish to react. In this moment, ask yourself, what response aligns with my values? What response will allow me to walk away from this situation with dignity and tact? One technique that Stoics use is reframing. Instead of seeing disrespect as a personal attack, see it as an opportunity to practice patience, resilience, and self-control. Remind yourself that true strength lies in mastery over oneself. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In other words, if someone is being rude or disrespectful, don't mirror their behavior. Rise above it by responding with grace or even choosing silence if that's the most dignified response. Responding with calm and reason also sets boundaries without unnecessary conflict. For example, if someone is repeatedly disrespectful, you might calmly let them know, "I prefer not to be spoken to that way." This isn't an emotional reaction but a clear, reasoned response that sets expectations for future interactions. If they continue, you may choose to distance yourself from them, reinforcing the idea that your inner peace and self-respect are non-negotiable. By practicing calmness, you strengthen your ability to stay grounded in all situations. Each time you respond calmly, you are building a habit that will serve you in future conflicts and challenging interactions. Over time, this approach will become natural, allowing you to handle disrespect without losing your inner peace. Chapter 4. See their disrespect as a reflection of them, not you. One of the core principles in Stoicism is understanding that other people's actions, words, and opinions are more a reflection of themselves than of you. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to take it personally, to feel that their words or actions are a direct attack on your worth. However, Stoicism teaches us to see such disrespect as a reflection of the other person's character, values, and internal struggles, not as a measure of our own value. By shifting our perspective in this way, we can protect our self-esteem and maintain a clear sense of who we are. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, emphasized that the judgments people make about us are rooted in their own beliefs, biases, and experiences. He famously said, "What concerns me is not the way things are, but the way people think things are." This simple yet profound insight reminds us that people view the world and each other through their own unique filters. When someone treats you poorly, it often reveals more about their own insecurities, frustrations, or unmet needs than it does about your worth as a person. Consider, for example, someone who constantly belittles others or dismisses their ideas. This behavior may stem from their own feelings of inadequacy, a need to feel superior, or a lack of empathy. By recognizing that their disrespectful behavior is driven by their own internal issues, you can detach from their negativity. Instead of absorbing their words or actions, You can observe them with a sense of detachment, recognizing that they are revealing their own struggles, not passing an accurate judgment on you. In practice, this Stoic perspective involves reframing the way you interpret disrespect. The next time someone disrespects you, pause and remind yourself, this is not about me. This is a reflection of them. By doing so, you create a mental shield against the emotional impact of their words or actions. This doesn't mean you excuse or condone disrespect, but rather that you refuse to let it diminish your sense of self-worth. You stand firm in the knowledge that their opinion doesn't define you. Seeing disrespect as a reflection of others also fosters empathy and patience. When you recognize that their behavior is likely rooted in their own pain, insecurity, or lack of self-awareness, it becomes easier to respond with compassion instead of anger. This doesn't mean allowing others to treat you poorly, but rather choosing to respond with a level-headed understanding rather than impulsive emotion. It's about recognizing the humanity in others even when they act in ways that are hurtful. This perspective also liberates you from the exhausting cycle of seeking external validation. When you understand that people's opinions are often subjective and biased, you stop relying on them for a sense of self-worth. Instead, you focus on building and maintaining your own values, character, and inner peace. You learn to anchor your self-esteem in your own perception of yourself, rather than letting it be swayed by others' behavior. In Stoic terms, this approach is a form of mental resilience. By reframing disrespect as a reflection of the other person, you become less vulnerable to the ups and downs of external judgments. You cultivate an unshakable sense of self that remains intact regardless of others' actions or opinions. This mindset allows you to navigate disrespectful encounters without feeling diminished, focusing instead on your own growth, values, and peace of mind. Chapter 5. Set and enforce boundaries with clarity. In Stoicism, setting boundaries is an essential part of maintaining inner peace and self-respect. Although Stoicism emphasizes tolerance, patience, and understanding, it also teaches that we should not allow others to disrupt our mental and emotional well-being. Setting boundaries isn't about rejecting or punishing others. It's about defining what you are willing to accept in your interactions and standing firm in those limits. When faced with disrespect, establishing clear boundaries helps you protect your peace and shows others that you respect yourself enough not to tolerate harmful behavior. Many people hesitate to set boundaries because they fear being seen as unkind, uncooperative, or difficult. However, as the Stoics teach us, boundaries are not about creating conflict, but about fostering healthy relationships and maintaining self-respect. When you set boundaries, you are simply communicating what is acceptable to you. This clarity helps prevent misunderstandings and resentment and allows you to engage with others on mutually respectful terms. Imagine someone in your life constantly belittles or dismisses your opinions. Rather than letting this disrespect erode your self-esteem or provoke an emotional reaction, you can calmly and clearly express your boundary. You might say something like, "I'd appreciate it if we could communicate respectfully. I feel that my opinions are not being valued, and it's important for me to feel respected in our interactions." By addressing the issue directly and with composure, you are setting a boundary without anger or hostility. You are simply expressing your expectations for a respectful exchange. Stoic philosopher Seneca emphasized the importance of maintaining personal sovereignty, the idea that you are in charge of your own mental and emotional state. When you set boundaries, you are reinforcing this sovereignty by letting others know that you will not allow their actions to infringe upon your peace. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out, but rather guidelines that help others understand how to interact with you respectfully. Enforcing boundaries, however, is just as important as setting them. People may test your boundaries, especially if they are used to behaving in a certain way toward you. When this happens, the Stoic response is to stand firm, but remain calm. If someone disregards your boundary after you've communicated it, you might need to repeat yourself or take further action, like reducing contact with them. The key is to stay consistent. Each time you enforce a boundary, you reinforce your commitment to self-respect and emotional well-being. Setting boundaries also involves knowing when to let go of certain relationships or interactions. The Stoics teach us to focus on what is within our control, and sometimes that means accepting that we cannot change others' behavior. If someone continues to disrespect you despite your boundaries, it may be wise to distance yourself. This isn't an act of resentment, but a recognition of what's best for your peace of mind. Stoicism encourages us to maintain harmonious relationships, but not at the cost of our dignity and self-respect. Setting boundaries ultimately allows you to take responsibility for your own well-being. By defining what is acceptable and enforcing it consistently, you communicate to yourself and others that your inner peace is a priority. This practice of self-respect not only safeguards your mental health, but also strengthens your resilience. When people see that you respect yourself, they are more likely to respect you as well. And for those who continue to disregard your boundaries, your firmness becomes a shield, protecting you from their negativity and allowing you to move through life with confidence and calm. Chapter 6. Use their behavior as a lesson for your own growth. One of the most empowering teachings of Stoicism is the idea that every experience, even negative ones, can serve as a lesson. When faced with disrespect, a Stoic would ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this encounter?" Instead of seeing disrespect as an insult to be resented, the Stoic mindset views it as an opportunity for self-improvement and resilience. By approaching disrespect with a growth mindset, you transform the experience from a negative event into a valuable lesson that strengthens your character. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the idea that challenges and difficulties are essential for personal growth. In his Meditations, he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This concept means that the obstacles we encounter are not meant to halt our progress, but to provide a path for us to become stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. When someone disrespects you, think of it as a mirror reflecting parts of yourself that may need attention, whether it's patience, assertiveness, or emotional resilience. Using disrespect as a lesson involves observing your own reaction to it. Do you feel anger, frustration, or insecurity? These emotions are natural, but they can also reveal areas where you may still need to develop greater control over your thoughts and feelings. For example, if someone's words make you feel unworthy or insecure, consider why their opinion affects you. This reflection can help you uncover beliefs or expectations you may hold about yourself or others. By identifying these, you gain a clearer understanding of your inner landscape and can begin the work of strengthening those areas. Another way to turn disrespect into a lesson is to view the person's behavior as a reminder of how not to act. When someone treats you poorly, they inadvertently offer you a lesson in kindness and respect. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, advised people to respond to others' flaws with understanding and compassion. He believed that seeing others' faults should encourage us to cultivate virtues within ourselves. For instance, if someone is dismissive or condescending, use the experience to reaffirm your commitment to being a respectful and compassionate person, regardless of how others act. Additionally, using disrespect as a lesson builds resilience. Each time you face disrespect and choose to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively, you reinforce your ability to remain grounded. This is the essence of Stoic resilience, viewing adversity as an opportunity to test and strengthen your own character. Over time, this practice turns disrespect into a tool for growth, one that allows you to approach future challenges with greater calm and confidence. You become less susceptible to external negativity because you've built an inner foundation that is steady and unshakable. Finally, viewing disrespect as a lesson helps you maintain control over your mind. In Stoicism, control over one's own mind is seen as the ultimate form of freedom. By reframing negative experiences as opportunities for growth, you shift the power dynamic. Instead of feeling like a victim of others' disrespect, you become an active participant in your own development. You no longer depend on others' behavior for your peace of mind. Instead, you derive strength and wisdom from every interaction, even the difficult ones. Chapter 7. Practice the Art of Letting Go. In Stoicism, the art of letting go is a cornerstone of emotional freedom and inner peace. The Stoics teach us to detach from things beyond our control, including how others perceive or treat us. When faced with disrespect, it's natural to want to dwell on it, replaying the words or actions in our minds, analyzing what we could have said or done differently. However, this mental replay can trap us in a cycle of frustration and resentment. Practicing the art of letting go means learning to release these unproductive thoughts and emotions, allowing ourselves to move forward with a clear and undisturbed mind. Epictetus, a well-known Stoic philosopher, famously taught, "It's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them." This means that our suffering often stems from our own thoughts about what happened rather than the event itself. By letting go of the need to dwell on others' disrespectful behavior, we free ourselves from unnecessary mental and emotional burdens. Letting go is not about ignoring what happened or pretending it didn't affect us, but about consciously deciding not to let it dominate our thoughts and influence our mood. One practical approach to letting go is through mindful awareness. When you catch yourself dwelling on a disrespectful encounter, take a moment to acknowledge it. Notice the emotions and thoughts that arise, but don't judge or fight them. Imagine them as clouds passing in the sky, temporary and ever-changing. By observing them from a distance, you can remind yourself that these thoughts do not define you, nor do they have any real power over your state of mind unless you allow them to. Another key aspect of letting go is accepting that some things are simply outside of our control. We can't control what others think of us, how they speak to us, or how they interpret our actions. The more we try to control these external factors, the more we entangle ourselves in frustration. By embracing the Stoic principle of amor fati, the love of fate, we learn to accept and even appreciate the experiences that life brings our way, including those that are uncomfortable or challenging. Instead of resisting reality, we embrace it, allowing us to let go of any lingering negativity. The art of letting go also involves forgiveness, not necessarily of others, but of ourselves. Often, we hold on to disrespectful encounters because we feel we should have responded differently or stood up for ourselves more. By forgiving ourselves for any perceived shortcomings in our reaction, we give ourselves permission to release the past and focus on the present. Stoic philosopher Seneca advised that we should be gentle with ourselves, just as we aim to be patient with others. Remembering this can ease the pressure we put on ourselves and make it easier to let go. Over time, practicing the art of letting go strengthens your mental resilience. Each time you release a negative thought or let go of the need to control how others see you, you build a habit of maintaining inner peace. You develop a kind of psychological armor that protects you from the impact of others' judgments or disrespectful actions. This doesn't mean you become indifferent or unfeeling. Rather, you learn to care deeply about your own peace of mind, knowing that clinging to negativity serves no productive purpose. Chapter 8. Remember your own values and standards. In the face of disrespect, one of the most grounding actions you can take is to remember your own values and standards. Stoicism teaches us that our worth is not determined by others' opinions or actions, but by our own character and the principles we choose to live by. When confronted with negativity or disrespect, reminding yourself of your core values serves as an anchor, keeping you steady and reminding you of who you truly are. This chapter focuses on how aligning with your values can empower you to rise above disrespect and handle challenging situations with integrity and dignity. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of remaining true to oneself regardless of external circumstances. He said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." This simple statement highlights the Stoic belief that we should focus on living in alignment with our values rather than seeking validation or respect from others. When you embody your principles, disrespect from others loses its power over you. It becomes irrelevant because your sense of self-worth is rooted in your own actions, not in how others treat you. When someone disrespects you, it can be easy to get pulled into a reactive mindset. You may feel the urge to defend yourself, argue, or even mirror their negative behavior. But taking a step back and recalling your values allows you to respond from a place of strength rather than reacting out of emotion. For example, if one of your values is kindness, you might choose to respond to rudeness with calmness instead of anger. If your value is self-respect, you might decide to calmly walk away from the situation rather than engaging in a pointless argument. By acting according to your values, you demonstrate a level of control that not only protects your peace but also commands respect from those around you. Your values are your inner compass, guiding you in moments of doubt or challenge. Each time you choose to align with them, you reinforce your sense of integrity and self-respect. Stoicism teaches us that true respect begins from within. When you live according to your own standards, you cultivate a deep, unshakable confidence that doesn't depend on others' opinions or behavior. This inner confidence acts as a buffer against disrespect because you know your worth isn't determined by how others perceive you. Furthermore, remembering your values can serve as a filter for the relationships you maintain. People who disrespect you may not share or respect your principles, and over time, it may become clear that some relationships are not worth keeping. Stoicism encourages us to pursue harmonious relationships that support our growth and well-being. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, they may be incompatible with your values, and letting go of that connection could be an act of self-respect. Living by your own standards also sets an example for others. When people witness your commitment to your values, they're more likely to respect you, even if they disagree with you. By staying true to yourself, you demonstrate that your self-worth is non-negotiable. This approach can even inspire others to reflect on their own actions and behaviors. Often, the most powerful response to disrespect is simply to live with integrity, showing that negativity and disrespect cannot shake your foundation. Chapter 9. Reflect on mortality and the bigger picture. A central theme in Stoicism is the concept of memento mori, or the reflection on mortality. While it might seem unusual to consider mortality when dealing with disrespect, this perspective can actually be profoundly liberating. Reflecting on mortality puts life's challenges, including moments of disrespect, into perspective. When we remember that life is fleeting and that time is our most precious resource, it becomes easier to let go of trivial grievances and to focus on what truly matters. Disrespect and negativity lose much of their sting when viewed through the lens of impermanence. Marcus Aurelius, who frequently reflected on mortality, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This reminder was not meant to instill fear, but rather to cultivate urgency and clarity in how we live each day. When someone disrespects you, consider how much time you want to dedicate to the situation. Is it worth allowing this encounter to take up space in your limited existence? By keeping mortality in mind, you can make a conscious decision to focus on what enriches your life rather than dwelling on what drains it. Viewing disrespect through the lens of mortality helps us separate the significant from the trivial. Life is short, and time spent in anger or frustration is time lost forever. Rather than clinging to resentment or dwelling on how we were wronged, reflecting on the brevity of life encourages us to prioritize our energy and attention. Disrespect becomes a minor issue compared to the opportunity we have each day to live meaningfully, pursue personal growth, and connect with others in positive ways. This perspective can help you let go of grudges, cultivate forgiveness, and avoid getting entangled in unnecessary conflicts. This reflection on mortality also fosters a deep sense of gratitude. By acknowledging the impermanence of life, we become more aware of the people and experiences that truly bring us joy and fulfillment. When faced with disrespect, this gratitude can act as a buffer. You're reminded of the people who respect and support you, of the meaningful experiences in your life that make minor encounters with negativity insignificant. Instead of allowing disrespectful behavior to dominate your mind, you can shift your focus to gratitude, cherishing the aspects of life that truly enrich you. Moreover, contemplating mortality encourages humility and compassion. We are all mortal, all experiencing our own challenges and fears. Recognizing this shared humanity can make it easier to respond to disrespect with empathy. Perhaps the person who disrespected you is going through a difficult time or is dealing with insecurities. Understanding our own mortality can lead to a softer, more compassionate response to others' flaws, including their disrespectful actions. This doesn't mean tolerating toxic behavior, but rather approaching situations with a more forgiving and understanding perspective. By remembering the bigger picture, we become more resilient and less reactive. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to accept what we cannot. Disrespect often falls into the latter category. We cannot control others' behavior, but we can control how much weight we give to it in our lives. When you reflect on the bigger picture, you realize that your time is better spent nurturing your values, relationships, and passions rather than dwelling on the actions of others. Chapter 10. Seek inner peace over external approval. The pursuit of inner peace is one of the core goals in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that true tranquility comes from within, and that it should not be contingent on others' approval, opinions, or behavior. When dealing with disrespect, it's tempting to seek validation from others or attempt to change their views about us. However, Stoicism teaches us that the pursuit of external validation is a fleeting and unreliable path. Instead, the Stoic path encourages cultivating inner peace, which provides lasting confidence and resilience regardless of how others treat us. Epictetus famously stated, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. External approval, as comforting as it might seem, is beyond our control. People's opinions shift and change, often based on factors we cannot influence or predict. Relying on this approval for self-worth is like building a house on shifting sands. It's inherently unstable. By prioritizing inner peace, we free ourselves from this dependency, cultivating a self-assured foundation that cannot be shaken by others' judgments or disrespect. Seeking inner peace over external approval means shifting our focus from how others perceive us to how we perceive ourselves. This internal focus can be strengthened by aligning our actions with our values, ensuring that we live according to our principles rather than others' expectations. When someone disrespects us, it's natural to feel a pull toward correcting their view of us, perhaps by defending ourselves or proving them wrong. However, in Stoic practice, our primary concern is to stay true to our own standards, not to sway others' opinions. By staying grounded in our values, we can remain at peace even when others misunderstand or disrespect us. Cultivating inner peace also involves letting go of the need for approval. The Stoics believed that external approval is often shallow, temporary, and sometimes even meaningless. Seneca reminded us, "If you live in harmony with nature, you will never be poor. If you live according to what others think, you will never be rich." In Stoic terms, this means that true wealth lies in the calm and fulfillment that come from living authentically. When we stop worrying about others' judgments, we liberate ourselves from the pressure to conform or seek validation, focusing instead on creating a life aligned with our own purpose and values. Inner peace also allows us to respond to disrespect from a place of calm rather than insecurity or anger. When our sense of worth is rooted internally, disrespect loses its power to disrupt us. We can observe others' actions with detachment, choosing to respond or not, without feeling threatened. This practice of equanimity is one of the most powerful tools for handling disrespect, as it prevents others from controlling our emotions or influencing our state of mind. Instead of feeling compelled to react, we maintain our composure, protecting our peace. Over time, seeking inner peace rather than external approval transforms how we relate to others. It fosters genuine confidence and self-respect, qualities that others can sense and often respond to with respect of their own. Ironically, by focusing less on gaining others' respect and more on nurturing our own inner tranquility, we often inspire others to respect us naturally. People are drawn to those who exude calm, authenticity, and self-assuredness. In conclusion, Stoicism offers powerful tools to handle disrespect with dignity, strength, and resilience. By focusing on what's within our control, practicing indifference to external opinions, and responding with calm and reason, we can navigate challenging interactions without losing our inner peace. Each of the principles we explored, from setting boundaries to reflecting on mortality, empowers us to approach disrespect not as a personal affront but as an opportunity for growth. We learn to see others' behavior as a reflection of their own struggles, rather than as a measure of our worth. In doing so, we protect our self-esteem and cultivate a life guided by our values rather than the shifting opinions of others. Remember, disrespectful encounters are inevitable in life, but how we choose to interpret and respond to them is entirely within our control. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies not in changing others but in mastering ourselves. By seeking inner peace over external approval, we find a stability that cannot be shaken by anyone's words or actions. When we prioritize our values, embrace gratitude, and let go of what doesn't serve us, we live a life of true freedom and fulfillment. These Stoic principles are not only tools for handling disrespect, but a roadmap for building resilience, character, and inner tranquility in every area of life. By applying these insights, you can rise above daily frustrations, maintain your integrity, and inspire others through your example. If you found value in this video and want to continue exploring Stoic wisdom, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, Stoic Mastery. Your support helps us bring more timeless teachings to those seeking peace and personal growth. Join our community, and let's continue this journey together toward becoming our best, most resilient selves. Thank you for watching, and remember, peace begins within.